no favors. I've done my favors for 4 years, right? At a point where I really want to build a brand that's sustainable for me, my family, and the people that I do business with. So that in itself, favors have not sustained anything in me. I've done a lot of favors for people, and even now they've not come back and become favorable to me.
From CNR JUTA De BEER, imini umsindisi wesizwe, umvelisi ummelisi wesizwe, formerly known as Lwazi Madonsela, bringing you a show about creative entrepreneurs live from the landmark that not only birth SA street culture but also formalize the street hustle. On today's episode, we have Siya Jr Ecko. Umsindisi wesizwe special edition, umvelisi Nina. Oh my God, he really did it. Oh my God, he got the echo. With Siya, formerly known as Siya Jr Ecko, creatively known as photographer of the year 2022, but 2023 professionally known as an international photographer. That's what's happening this year.
Thank you. We take that.
How you feeling?
I'm lovely, man. How are you?
I'm in a beautiful state right now, right? I haven't done this in like 4 or 5 months. So this is like the beginning for me. So I'm relearning everything, and it's like a beautiful experience.
Let's go. I'm excited for this. I'm mad excited for this.
It's a simple one. I sat down. You came up in conversation. I remember when you just did the Amajans, right? You did Amajans. I think I was at Good Morning. You came up in conversation, and they're like, "Yo, JR is really him." They're like, "Yo, that's the nigga with the sauce. He's the one with the creative ideas, especially the CGI stuff, everything that's moving album arts from flat images. Essentially, you the guy behind it." And then I'm like, "Okay, cool." Then we look at it, but I'm a due time guy. Like if we're shooting and there's load shedding right now, we're not waiting for load shedding to come back. It's God bless. We'll try to get in next time.
Yeah.
The universe didn't want it. That's the wave I've been on because I'm a spiritual dude. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate to say it because it sounds funny.
Yeah.
Because now you're gonna sound like a chakra, but like I'm in your presence, and I feel like when I was looking at it, I was like, this is the guy who's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not doing photography.
Yeah.
You're doing branding for acts. You're doing a 3-way rollout where it's like you can identify it for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And the last time we saw that was a Touch My Blood.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be in that moment where like these things I've been working towards are actually real for me?
For me, I think it's a very surreal feeling even now. I still haven't found myself like living in that moment and understanding what it is that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
People speak to me and I hear it, but I haven't fully like realized that. I don't think I've had a moment where I sit and I'm like, oh damn, I did that. Or this is what it means to the next person, or this is what it means to the artist. Because also maybe I do not get the time because isn't just yashinja and isn't just yashesha.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I haven't really gotten to a point of understanding what it is and the impacts that I have on the industry and people's lives and my own life.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then that day you decided that, yo, I'm doing it for real. The day you meet Durban Gogo, the day you start shooting Durban Gogo. What's that thing? Because for the kids at home, I'm the kid at home. I'm still sitting at home trying to figure things out,
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you shoot with your phone, we shooting for Instagram. You shot with your phone and you shot for acts.
Yeah.
How was that? What was that thing that told you, yeah, I can do it? What's that thing?
So, I think for me is that everything that everyone else wanted me to do wasn't working out and I wasn't good at it, right? And when I started saying like, fuck you to the world and what I'd found, what had made me happy. So it was that. It's like, oh, I finally found something that makes me happy and not my dad happy and not Untlanta happy or the next person, but it makes me happy. And that's how I found it. I was like, oh shit, this makes me feel happy. This makes me feel liberated. And that's what got me into photography, or just being able to like express whatever's been like bothering me in my head and getting it out and for someone else to receive it and say, oh, that looks dope, or this made me feel this way. That's it. That's what got me here, and that's what makes me do this thing every day I wake up.
How do you keep getting better?
Research, study, exploring, living, wanting to do more, man. It's just wanting to really be the best. So I'm every day waking up, looking at what's popping, who's popping, what I need to learn, what we have been doing, how we can improve on that. So it's just wanting to be the best, like at everything that I do. So that's what keeps me at it. That's what gets me working as hard as I do.
How do you create a team when you want to be the best?
It's hard. Oh no, I think right now is probably one of the most difficult things that I'm working with, because in the process of wanting to be the best, everyone kind of feels that they have a very big contribution in making you the best, which they do, you know? So it's always a very difficult thing to get to, where people are like, okay, we need you to be the best, but I also need to push my own grind on the side, or like I got stuff that I need to do, and how much of you can I push when I'm supposed to push my stuff as well? So it is a very tricky one.
You create the style. We know you're the guy that takes it to the future, makes it special, super clean. There's no weird grain. It's like we're telling this narrative, we're telling the story, we're creating stuff in Blender 3D for Gabza. You're really taking it to the top.
Yeah.
How do you know your worth?
I don't.
Because now it's like, look at it like this. This is how I see it, right? Because I have a cynical mind.
Yeah.
Like simple album rollout, like
Yep.
AK rollout, got pushed by a month. So in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. There's at least 2 million being risked by pushing it by a month. That means there's a brand deal that's going to come with this pushback. And then when I look at it, it's like, okay, cool. But now there has to be content for this extra month. How much is that worth?
Yeah.
So now I'm asking, what is your worth? Because now you coming with this grandiose idea that we have to go to the beach. There's no beach in Joburg.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now we have to fly your team.
I mean, in terms of my worth, I don't think I've figured it out yet, because also the process of like creating the style, every time there's something that's coming up, then you need to cost for, or like, oh damn, I'm trying to shoot at the beach, but I'm trying to shoot at the beach with this and this, so there's more cost in that. So I'm learning now that my worth is changing with every work that I create, and the better that we get. So I don't know my worth as of yet.
How sustainable is it though?
Very sustainable. I tell you, it's very sustainable. Like once you figure out your niche and you figure out your clients and you figure out what you really want to do, like people are always gonna come for that.
What are the steps, bro? Every year, Joburg is blessed with 10 kids who get really good at post production.
Yeah.
But what are the steps where I go from I took a nice picture to I'm working with Austin?
Putting out work. I think one, believing in yourself firstly. Two, putting out work that is of dope quality, you know, because I think people are always watching. There's someone that's always watching. There's someone that's always trying to learn something, you know. So if you go out there and you really put out the best of the best version of yourself, someone is bound to see it, or Austin is bound to see it, whoever, you know. So it does take time also. Like it does take time. I think for me, I think I've probably been shooting for 5 years. It only feels like now in the 5th year are people kind of saying, oh, that's the guy, you know? So it takes time also, and it takes patience. It takes like a lot of growth in your head as well. It's a lot of work.
I always have this thing, right? I have this question, right?
Yeah.
It hit me for the longest time because I then studied how to make films. But then in the process, at midst of studying films was like, well, what's my legacy? What am I creating for the next generation? Because back in the day, your legacy is your children.
Yeah.
Right? For me, my legacy is what the next guy can say, we learn from him. It's because we create from an ego standpoint. We all want to be recognized.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there is a legacy to be left when you are helping other careers propel?
100%. I think there's even a greater legacy like that because it moves further and wider than you could have gotten it yourself, you know? So if you get someone to learn something, they can go push it in Korea. They can go push it.
No, I'm talking about like this way. Sorry, I didn't.
Okay.
You do the most fire album art.
Okay.
Is that your legacy, or are we seeing you go into sculptures? Are we seeing you go into solo exhibitions? Where are we going?
Yo, we're going very far. Like, we go... Bro, first, my thing, I can tell you this year alone, like, you're going to see me want to move into different avenues as to where do we get this work to move. Because right now, as a photographer in 2023, you've just been told to push Instagram. Right? You've forgotten the traditional medias, you've forgotten the exhibitions. But then there's platforms that are open to you as a youth of 2023 that you can look into. You know? I'm going to put out an idea now. Whoever takes it and whoever steals it is theirs.
Take it. Take notes.
Right? But it's like, as a photographer, it's one thing to get people to be on Instagram and like your stuff. But imagine if I was getting you to wear my images every day on a t-shirt, on a jacket.
Combination.
Right? That way I can get you to actually live my work daily. And that's a greater legacy than an Instagram.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I'm trying to really get into. Because I wear like a lot of graphic tees. I wear like people's faces on me. And I thought, oh, but someone could wear this. Right? And then there's a generation that's going to come, or maybe in the next 5 years, of generation that I'm living in, where people own cars and own houses, and they can buy, stuff, and they can maybe put reps on their cars, on my photo. Like there's endless possibilities what you can do with photography, but like obviously it's things that we still need to get into, things that we need to open up for people to understand that it's possible to do that.
5-step guide
Yeah.
for the kid at home. How do I take a fire picture? What by phone?
Let the photo be for yourself, for your own satisfaction first.
That's one.
To make sure your settings are correct. Like,
how do we play around settings? Is this YouTube school?
It's up to you. I think for me, there's obviously different ways to learn photography. It's up to you. For me, it's as long as the style is yours. Whether you see it on YouTube, whether you see it from a Jr Ecko or whatever, but let the style be yours. So that's 2. 3, really get other people to contribute as well. It's not a one-man show. It's so much better when you can get other people to contribute. Let them bring in their creativity and their intellectual property and mindsets into that. The picture can be so much better. 4, man, get a proper editor. Like, edit that photo proper, bro. Right? And 5, celebrate your work.
We don't do that.
Yeah, celebrate your work.
We don't do that. We don't do that. And it's always it's a harsh thing. We were talking about it outside. It's a harsh thing. The most creatives are happy to be here.
Yeah.
That when you are asked what's your fee, the first thing is panic mode, and then you're like, how do you get to the point where you're like, nah, get 12K done, and then you look that way.
I used to be shy to price, right? I used to be so shy to price because like I didn't even have a matrix to charge. There's no one that was telling me that, oh cool, this is the amount that makes sense, So most of the time you're just like trying to figure out your worth. So for the longest time, if I've been shooting for 5 years, for 4 years, I've been undercharging. Right? Just taking jobs, getting people to understand what I do. But now we're really getting to a point where we know how to charge, and not by my own assistance. I've gotten people to help me, people that have been in the industry longer, that understand certain things longer, I've also been learning things about usage, and I've been missing out so much money on usage. That thing hurts me, bro. Like, and to go on and then realize that's not even a thing yet in South African photography, and it's kind of feeling like, do I want to take on this battle? Do I not? Because pricing is not a thing. Like, you can't go on the internet and figure out how much people charge. So that is a very difficult thing.
That was my biggest reason for starting the podcast. So I started podcasting in 2018, right?
Yeah.
It was really 2017, December 2018. I started this little show on my Instagram when IGTV just dropped.
Yeah, yeah.
It's still on the same 348 Select page, but it was literally, the title was, Where Are We Going? Because I realized one thing, like, there's no actual directory for South Africans.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, you could Google what Kanye just did. You could Google what the people in his team are. You also find Don the Team. You could find Art Future. You could find 123. And then when you looked at South Africa, it's like, it's a if you know type setup where it's like, yo, if you've never met JR, you don't know what JR did. Because even the way we credit, we don't really credit. It's always like, shout out to my team at the awards for best album art. You can't say shout out JR.
Yep.
That's my biggest problem right now. And what do you feel is something we need to solve in South Africa as a creative? 'Cause I feel like we have problems, but I think now this season, let's task each other to find the solutions.
In terms of what though? Is this like
in your lane?
In my lane,
business as a photographer, what would you like to change? Putting it out to the universe.
One, like information, bro. Like, let's have enough information for whatever it is. Like, right now, I'm currently looking for a location, right? I do not know where to go for that. Like, I'm trying to find out about pricing. I do not know where to go for that. So the information is just, it's kind of feeling like people are closing information in, or maybe I'm not searching in the right spaces. But like, people are not as open about information, especially to the next black kid who's trying to like come up and start a business and be sustainable in whatever they're in. People are keeping information to themselves, which I think is really slowing us down as black entrepreneurs and black creatives, So I'd really change that, the access to information.
The data wars.
Yo, man.
Data wars.
That sucks.
How are we developing a community? You do the dope work, they tag you, you repost, you like post the BTS, but how are you building a community of JR Ecko people?
With me, I've learned to communicate with my people. You'll find me showing my lifestyle. You'll find me showing, my work processes. You'll find me speaking to people on lives. Because I just believe that, like, if these are the people that are supposed to support my work, I'm also supposed to be accessible to them. They should be able to show me what they appreciate. They should be able to tell me what I'm doing wrong, and for me to take it in and listen. I might not use it, or like I might use it, but to be accessible to people is a nice way to build a community, because they're there essentially for you, and you need to be there for them as well.
You talk a lot about your come up story.
Yeah.
And how you were underpricing, how you didn't understand usage, how certain information wasn't there. And that's because most of the time you were doing favors.
Yeah.
Right? But now you've established the brand. So what's the balance between favors and budget?
There's no favors. I've done my favors for 4 years, right? At a point where I really want to build a brand that's sustainable for me, my family, and the people that I do business with. So that in itself, favors have not sustained anything in me. I've done a lot of favors for people, and even now they've not come back and become favorable to me, So I've just realized that it really doesn't do me any good. You get all the credit for putting out dope work, and whatever else, sure, you might credit me, but that's really going to get me like 5 followers. You've made all the money. So that's not favorable at all. So I've stopped doing favors, bro. Like, I've really stopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really stopped.
When I sat back and I looked at your community spec, it was like, what hit me was like the wallpaper challenge.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I think for me, when I was reverse engineering your process, because for me, everything's like, okay, cool. I see what you did with them, but how did you do it for yourself?
Yeah.
And for me, when I look back, it was like, okay, that's your wallpaper challenge. I feel like when you built that community, that's what sustained you, right?
Yeah.
And then what's the next step to the wallpaper challenge? Because I love JR Ecko.
Yeah.
Can't afford a shoot with him.
Yeah.
I love JR Ecko. The most I can do is repost, say, yo, man, shout out, blessings, I appreciate this.
Yeah.
What can a kid at home do to access a JR Ecko piece? Besides reposting, liking, what's that thing you're taking home for the kids?
That's a difficult one. And that's, I think, goes back to the whole thing that I was telling you about the fashion stuff, right? Because it's really that you really do want to get to the masses. You really want to be a household name, but you cannot like compromise your prices or compromise where you put out your work and the quality of work. So that is a difficult one. I haven't figured out how the daily person or like a day-to-day person can be a part of the JR Ecko brand or the experience, I think every once in a while, one thing I'm really trying to do this year is to have like a open call for people to come in and take a photo. I did it for Christmas last year. I'm going to try to do it like quarterly per holiday. It is a very difficult one. It is expensive to do, but like it does go back to the community thing where like, damn, there's people every day that wish they could shoot with me, but either don't have the idea or the resources for it.
We businesses now.
Yeah.
It's no longer cool.
Yeah.
Our parents finally see us afford stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we're looking for apartments.
Yeah.
They're like 3 months back statement. Like, easy.
Yeah.
Like pay slip. The question I'm trying to figure, probably in the middle of the year, sometime this year, we're going to get someone from SARS to help us, right?
Yeah.
Or an accountant to come to the show.
Yeah.
How have you figured out to pay yourself a salary? Because I'm still struggling. I'm not even going to lie or create a thing where it's like, the business is making an income, but the business is you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was having a similar conversation with the homies just yesterday. I was asking them what seems like a fair amount to pay myself.
Yeah.
And it is a difficult one because you're seeing so much money that you're making and you can't figure out, okay, of this portion, which one makes sense for me and how much makes sense to grow the business. It is a difficult one. I haven't figured that out. Like in terms of admin, I've just been terrible. Only now this year that I have like hire a manager, trying to get my books in like proper order.
Yeah.
Trying to understand, okay, income in, income or money out versus, all of those things. So it's a difficult one because it was fund up.
Hey guys, if you do something in business and accounting, if you can help us structure, please let us know and come to the show.
Please.
Because I think we talk about the success so much. Like the biggest milestone we all make as creatives You finally make money. But the biggest problem with then making the money is how do we formalize our money?
Yeah.
Because yes, the business is eligible for tax. You do pay that tax. Yes, that exists. But then as the individual, Siya Jr Ecko is making money.
Yeah, but
Siya's a broke guy, dog.
Yeah.
When the president is counting the stats for unemployed guys, Siya no Lwazi, Siya, like, smell 358. So like,
Still is bad, it's still is bad, yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out what's the next step. How can we help each other get there? Because for me, even now, it's still a tussle. It's like getting my own place. There was also a mission where you're like, oh, you have to find FICA documents. What's FICA documents?
Yeah, I don't have
And then
that.
you start to figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So more than anything, man, I have to ask the common question we asked in the show.
yeah.
We both 90s babies.
Yeah.
New age kids. Do you still think we need a landmark where all the kids meet?
We do. I come from Pretoria, right? And that's the one thing we don't have in Pretoria.
Sorry to interrupt. Shout out Pretoria. That's where we get most of our listeners and viewers. Shout out Pretoria. Yo, Pretoria, stand up. Stand up.
I come from Pretoria, and I find that there's nothing or no hub at all for creatives. There's no point for us to meet, no point for us to discuss anything. So, mangakutholanga go Instagram, mangakutholanga nje nhlobo.
Eish, nama DM requests.
So, asinayo. So I think gosh. So I think it's very necessary. I don't lie. I think it's very necessary because I came up like that. I mean, like BRAAM. Like, I was in BRAAM every weekend because there's people that I could meet.
Yeah.
Like, when RHTC was downstairs,
Shout out to Mayor.
I was meeting everybody there and people that I went on and built relationships with, you know? So it's very necessary, man. Like,
Most importantly, man, this is my goosebumps question. This is the one question everyone's still asking me.
Yeah.
What's your word to the youth?
I don't have word to the youth, but what I always do try to say whenever I have a platform is fair to just create for yourself, make yourself happy, and live and love yourself. That's it.
JR Ecko, Siya,
Yeah.
special edition. Thank God for the savings. I can't believe we made it happen. This is, I'm back. I'm back on the show, you know?
I'm also back.
You know?
Yeah.
We're having back. But for me, I just want to take this moment and say thank you for creating.
Yeah.
I think we don't give each other enough props in the things that we do. Because when you're creating that, when you're doing this for that, this, that, yes, there's a monetary value, but I don't feel like we see each other as creators. It's like there's this weird competition thing we have. It's like, no, you don't have to fight for this bag. Like, Siya charges 15, you charge 5. It's not your competition.
Yeah.
It's a different tax bracket.
Yeah.
And I think we also need to start acknowledging each other's greatness. So what I want to say is thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for creating. Please keep continuing to create. Because there's someone chilling at home who was like, oh shit, JR started with the phone. I'm starting with the phone too. So to sum up this beautiful conversation, shout out Pretoria. Shout out to you. CNR JUTA DE BEER. Thank God for the savings. Cindy Swesig will listen on a special edition. Dom's Mkelo Kizamba Nonina. Uyena. Him!
Yeah.
Yeah.